Hi and welcome back to this Blue Light Babies crochet tutorial for the crocodile stitch foam pouch, and hello from the bobbits. So let's put them away. How did you get on? Did you manage? I decided to go for stripes. I told you I wasn't that imaginative with colour. So I got 8 rows, 2, 4, 6, 8, and I'll just get my phone and you can see it's not far off size wise. I'm quite happy with that. So we've got the tab to do and we've got the bottom to finish off. So let's get on with that. So I'm going to stick with white because I think that what I might do is I might do the tab in the minty greeny bluey coloury thingy. Okay, so I joined my last row of crocodiles and I've turned my work so it's facing me now. So can you see underneath and behind your scales you've got part of your frame row below, these little bars that are sticking up. If you poke them up you can get them. So what I kind of thought was, if your foam pouch is a little bit short but not enough to do a full crocodile row, you're probably going to need to do half double crochets on this row. If yours, like mine, is pretty much there, then single crochets will do. Anything bigger than a half double crochet, you're probably better doing another row of crocodiles. Just because I think it's going to look a bit daft at the top if you don't. So mine's okay. It'll give it just a little bit more length, which is okay. So what I'm going to do is single crochets, or double crochets in the UK. Single crochets is an American term. I don't know why they're different. It just confuses everybody. So under this bar I'm going to do 2, then I'm going to do 1 in the eye, and then behind the bar at the back I'm going to do 2. And then I'm going to do 1, you see, I'll flip it over that way, probably be better, yeah. In between the crocodiles, just like we did with the frame row, you've got 1 there, so I'm going to put 1 in there. Nice tension, not too tight because your phone's got to go in and out. So 2 in there, 1 in the eye, 2 in the little frame behind, 1 in the V below. Looks like a V, doesn't it? 2 little legs. I've called it all sorts of things. I suppose to be a good teacher you've got to stick to the same terms. Okay, we keep going all the way around. Did it take you very long? I think once you get going on these, you should be able to make one in, well, at least a couple of hours, I'd say. There we go. 1 in the one below. 2 in there. 1 in the eye. 2. 1 in the eye, and we're back round to where we started. So, and you see we're back round, so I'm just going to do a slip stitch there. Okay. Right. What I want my tab to do is to sit in the middle of these 2 shells, sort of halfway. I'm going to make it this width. It lends itself to being this width because I'm going to go from the eye, my tab to be from the eye of this scale to the eye of that, but my yarn's in the middle, so how do I get over there? And it's a simple process. We're just going to do what we call slip stitch. So in these 1, 2 stitches we're just going to slip. So put your yarn in, pull it through, and loosely, don't do it tight, you've got to work into these. Pull it through. Put your yarn in, pull it through and pull it through. There we go. And then I'm going to change colour. I almost forgot there. I'm going to change colour, so let's cut that off and find my green colour. There we go. And again, I'm going to knot it only because the phone's going to be coming in and out, in and out, in and out, and I don't want it to fall apart. That would be awful. There we go, a nice tight knot. And one more for luck. I'm going to weave them in anyway, so I'll just tuck them in for now. Pretend they're not there. Okay. Now let's think about this. Let's just tuck them ends away. There we go, I've got my hook. Now if I started working on the tab now, the right side would be, because I've got to turn my work, so the right side would be there. So I'm going to chain one. Okay, so in the next 5 stitches, 1, 2, the third one is right in the middle of the V, 4 and 5. So it just brings us either side of the 2 crocodile scales. You can't get them right in the middle because the stitches sit either just to the left or just to the right of the eye, so you can't get them right in the middle. So let's do that. So 1, 2, the third one is right above the V, so that's the middle one, 3, 4 and 5, and chain 1 and turn. And then we're just going to repeat that until we've got a long enough tab. Just count 5 and then you'll have straight edges. One of the hardest things to do when you're doing a blankish and that's row to row is remembering that last stitch. It's easy when you've only got 5 to count, but if you had a king size bed size, you wouldn't want to be counting every single stitch on every single row. So it's about visualising what that last stitch looks like. Is it really a stitch? And when you've only got 5, it's quite good to take your time and learn. I like to learn something from every project I do, even if it's something that I've done a million times. The 22nd mermaid blanket I made, I actually changed the way that I'd made the fin, and I wished I'd done it on all the others. So you learn something in every project. So let's have a look at this last stitch. I've done 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this last one is there. Can you see how it sits there? There it is. So I've got 5 stitches. Sorry, I said 6 before, didn't I? I meant 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Having a bit of a moment. Chain 1. Turn your work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's 5. It's still 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can quite clearly see that I'm a bit short at the end of the row. And what does it look like? It kind of looks like a stitch, sort of. But you can tell from underneath that that bit hasn't been worked, and if I was to go up a row it wouldn't be straight now. So let's work in there, turn around. So we're going to kind of keep working across these 5 stitches and we'll see where we're at. I suppose you could use a press stud to make the closure, or a button, or Like I said earlier on, you could weave a lace through of some description through the top of the crocodiles and make it like a drawstring pouch. That would work. Don't really know how many rows I've done, if you're keeping count. I'm not. As long as it does the job. Let's keep going for another row. I'll just finish this row and then talk to you about the button. Okay, I'm just going to pull that out, put my hook down. So, where we're at, that's a row again. Let's get you tucked inside so you don't get into bother. Okay, so that's the start of my tab. It's coming down nicely in the middle of my work. So, I've got this button. Get them off eBay. It says handmade with love. How cute is that? So I probably want it lends itself to be sat sort of in a scale somewhere around there, do you think? So I'm probably approaching where the buttonhole would be. So I think, well, there's a couple of ways. We can make a row of trebles. Our next row can be trebles and the button would pass in between the trebles. That would work. In fact, let's do that and I'll show you that. And then I'll show you possibly another method. So, trebles, I need to do 3. Chain, turn your work. And I'm going to work a treble into the same stitch just so it's a bit stronger for this buttonhole. It's going to push them apart. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, let's just see where we're at with that. See if that's going to work. I think it probably will. So the plan is for the button to fit through. Yeah, it does fit through there. So if my button was attached in that little dip there, which seems to be a nice little home for it, my tab would come down there. You can see already I've kind of made the buttonhole and the button will pass through with a bit of a tweak, but it'll make it nice and secure. So that's one way of doing it. I'm going to pull those back. There we go. The other way of doing it is, that's the end of the last row, I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's see, yeah, well, is it going to be 5 or is it going to be 6? Let's see. Over to the other side. I think it's 5. So I've chained 5. I've done 5 chain stitches, and I'm going to skip all these stitches along, and in the very end stitch I'm going to just make a slip stitch. There we go. So let's just see how we get on with that. So here's our little button position. That'll go over there. Yeah, lovely. And that then would fasten around there. Do you know what? I like that much better. That's what I'm going to do. In which case, that bit's done. So that's the tab. We can, if you really wanted to, let me just pick up that loop there. We can strengthen this